if we could take it back, if you could share some of the experiences that shaped your upbringing and perhaps your perspective on health and fitness.
The two things probably that really stand out from childhood were, I think I just had some natural physical abilities, that I was expressing, and my parents saw it and they wanted to just give me a lot of opportunities to get into sports. So I tried all the sports, but really found a love for soccer and for golf. These were like my two sports, very different, right? There was this very physical sport in soccer, and then a very, disciplined, mental, go within yourself exploration with competitive golf. So they cultivated just different skills and traits in me, I think, both of those sports. But really, in about like the high school years, my love for golf really accelerated because of me being an introverted person and an inward thinker and a thoughtful, athlete. I could express that so much in golf. It's such a game of strategy. It's such a game of being able to play between calming your emotions and your psyche while expressing some, real physical prowess. People don't think that when they see golf. They're like, there's a bunch of out of shape guys out there. But, that is changing dramatically. And the athleticism to swing a club and to do those things is tremendous. But on the flip side, with soccer, I got really into the physical expression of the body. And I started to love the training of soccer deeply. I love the training of my body outside of soccer practice through sprinting, through calisthenics, through weight training, as it fed this part of me that was like, movement is the anchoring point of my life. So that was seeded early on, and movement being just this anchor to how everything else was going to function, feel, and optimize, whether it be as a student, just general happiness. If I wasn't moving and if I wasn't engaged physically, I didn't have as good an outcome in other areas of my life. And a lot of kids feel that, and people, young athletes, student athletes, they just like, when I'm on my schedule, when I'm training, when I'm hitting practice, things go better. So that really was like my teenage years, 8 years old through the end of high school. And then I got into college, and I was fortunate to sort of take one of those sports and play them at a collegiate level. I played soccer at UC Berkeley. The experience of then taking this passion of movement and sport and then going up a notch in terms of now there's people talk about politics in sports, and they talk about which is basically who's the coach going to play? What's the purpose of playing that athlete? We got to win games, but we also put some money towards this athlete. They were a top recruit. Started to introduce some things that made me look at the sport differently. And I was a standout youth athlete that got, I don't want to say bench, but I just didn't get the starting spot. And I never got the starting spot for my entire collegiate career. And so I rode the bench for a long time. And that really sharpened my attention on what about this do I love? Because it wasn't the game. It wasn't the spotlight. It wasn't the winning championships, although I felt like I was contributing to the team. It was more, I actually love the training for this thing. I don't want to give up the training. I can explore training in these other ways that are not 30 hours a week or 20 hours a week of dedicating to an organized sport that was somewhat politically driven. And so that started to shift my focus towards what we'll call the sport of training, or fitness, basically. It just so happened that I was deeply interested in the health sciences. So I was a molecular cell biology major at Berkeley with a pre-med emphasis, and predominantly took courses and coursework in, cell development and physiology. So really starting to understand, okay, let me understand what's happening in my body on a cellular level, and then combine that with expressing movement and how that changes the physiology and our psychology and our emotions. And I just got super interested in that and became an avid consumer of scientific literature on fitness, biology, and that intersection of the actual expression of movement and fitness and nutrition. And when I finished college, it was like, okay, now I got to go find a way to do this for the rest of my life.